Good morning. On behalf of the Alliance of Women in Workers' Compensation, I want to welcome you to today's webinar. Today we are going to talk about the Alliance Ambassador Program and what's to come in 2023. This is a pre-recorded panel and is being broadcast today, January 26, 2023. Before we get started, I would like to thank our corporate sponsors for their support on hosting events such as this. They support us not because they want their logos up on a screen, but they support the cause, which is to affect positive change in the workers' compensation industry through networking, supporting, mentoring, and collaboration. The Alliance is inclusive of all professionals in workers' compensation, regardless of career stage, with the belief that we can all learn from and support each other. Our theme this year is Together Towards Tomorrow. Please be sure to head to the Alliance website for all upcoming events. We are excited to be hosting webinars, collaboration sessions, and in-person events throughout 2023. Check back on our website for all registration details. If you cannot make one of our virtual or in-person events, don't worry. All events will be recorded and on demand for our followers. The Alliance grew so much last year as we launched several new chapters. Please be sure to connect with your local ambassador for upcoming events to kick off your year with the Alliance. Change is preceded by trust. It is through acceptance and inclusion that trust will be formed and positive impact will occur. The Alliance is committed to creating a safe space in the workers' compensation industry for women of diverse backgrounds and experiences through a shared culture that integrates various perspectives. This is who we are and who we will be. The time to do better and be better is now. The Alliance understands that diversity is a journey that will take time to make meaningful changes for our organization, our followers, and our supporters. We will be intentional in making progress along our key pillars of change. Turning to today's webinar, we will have a panel conversation highlighting the Alliance's Ambassador Program. Have you been wondering how to get more involved with the Alliance? Is it one of your goals to step outside of your comfort zone and network in the industry? Then this panel is for you. In this session, you will learn about the Ambassador Program, including highlights from 2022, plans for 2023, ways to get more involved with your local ambassador, and a call to action at the end. Our panelists today include Josephine Copeland, SVP of Product Design and Strategy at Sedgwick and Alliance board member overseeing the Ambassador Program, Megan Angus, Senior Manager of Claims at Sodexo, and Ambassador for the Phoenix area, and Erin Quinn-Stevens, National Account Manager for Optum and in the Indianapolis area Ambassador. Although this is a pre-recorded session, please comment and ask questions using the chat feature on your screen. We would love for you to engage with your fellow members during this session in particular, and we will follow up with answers to any questions you may have regarding the Ambassador Program. Thank you for the time you're spending with us today, and we hope you enjoy this webinar. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to our panelists for joining, and to anyone watching, welcome. I'm so excited about today's topic because it is about the Alliance Ambassador Program. And this program is really one of the best ways for us to engage with our members. And so this is going to be a really great discussion today. But before we jump in, just want to remind everyone watching, this is a pre-recorded session so that we could assemble at least panelists together to make sure you could hear from them. So if you do have any questions at the end of this session that either weren't answered or that you think of later, please just go to the Contact Us section of the Alliance website and we can get those questions answered for you. So with that, let's just jump right in. So first, if everyone could introduce themselves and who you are, what you do, what your interaction is within the Alliance, and we'll start with you, Joe.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Jill Copeland, and I work in managed care product design and strategy. I've been on a couple sides of the table in this workers' compensation industry, first as a paralegal for a state workers' compensation agency. Then I've worked for managed care service providers, and the last few years I've spent working on the workers' compensation payer side. I currently serve on the board of the Alliance, and in partnership with two other board members and our senior program coordinator, I'm responsible for the Ambassador Program, and I'm super excited to have this conversation.
Great. And Megan, how about you?
Hi, I'm Megan Angus. I'm a senior claims manager with Sodexo, so I work on the risk management side. I have been with the Alliance since 2019 in Arizona as an Arizona ambassador, co-ambassador. So I'm very excited to talk about this subject.
Great. And Erin, how about you?
Yes, hi. My name is Erin Quinn-Stevens, and I am a national account manager I've been in the workers' comp industry for about 21 years now in different customer service roles. And I am newly appointed the Indiana Ambassador, and I'm very excited to be part of this group.
Yeah, welcome. We are excited as well. So to get started, so Joe, since you were in the board position that oversees this program, I wanted to start with you. Can you just kind of high level talk to our members? What is the Ambassador program?
Sure. So the Ambassador Program is really a group of committed volunteers who take the mission of the Alliance into their local communities. And just to remind everyone, that mission is to affect positive change in the workers' compensation industry through networking, support, mentoring, and collaboration. But in addition to the ambassadors coordinating local networking and educational events that align with the Alliance's national message, I think the program does two really great things. First, it creates opportunities for ambassadors and followers to expand their professional network where they live and where they work. And given the national footprint of our ambassador program, ambassadors can also expand their professional network because now they interact with other ambassadors they may otherwise have never met. And then second, because the ambassadors are focused on local content with in-person events, it allows for more intimate and maybe geographically relevant conversations about the challenges and the opportunities that face women in this wonderful workers' compensation industry that we're in.
I love that. I love committed volunteers for the mission. That's great. So we obviously were rolling into 2023, but looking back just for a minute at 2022, can you talk about some highlights or some things that went well in 2022?
Wow. So in 2022, ambassadors did continue to support the mission of the Alliance, but much of that was done virtually. Ambassadors hosted virtual collaboration sessions, but we did start our first book club, which was also hosted by ambassadors. So we're very excited about that. But I would say the biggest highlight for the program was really our ambassador recruiting. In 2022, that recruiting call was the largest one that the Alliance had ever done. And it resulted in some phenomenal additions to the ambassador program, such as Erin. But it also introduced us to some really amazing women who are supportive of what we're trying to accomplish, whether they became ambassadors or not. And so with this new class of ambassadors, we expanded our footprint from 16 ambassadors to more than 40. And we went from 12 state chapters to 26. And then as we continue our sort of DEI journey that you've probably seen us talk about or heard us talk about in some events, we have a wonderfully diverse group of brilliant and committed ambassadors from different parts of the industry with various roles within the industry. And that's how we're going to continue to evolve the Alliance moving forward.
That growth is absolutely amazing, and again points out why this program is so good for our members, because if you're not able to attend in person or can't attend all the virtual, to actually have that community going now to 26 states, that's amazing. So high level, what are some general ideas or plans then for 2023 coming off of that really successful 2022?
So like everyone else, it's probably the return to in-person events, which our ambassadors are already planning. But high level, the ambassador program's focus is really threefold. I would say awareness, expansion, and relevance. So first, the ambassadors will create a broader awareness of the Alliance and our mission. Essentially, we need people to know who we are and what we're trying to accomplish, and ambassadors will help to do that. Second, the ambassadors will expand the number of followers who participate and can benefit from our efforts. And then third, we'll accomplish those first two by creating and coordinating events that are timely, engaging, and inclusive. But the program is also about the ambassadors. So everyone knows the Alliance's theme this year is Together Toward Tomorrow, and we incorporate that for the ambassadors as well. So we meet monthly and celebrate each other's achievements and good news, personal and professional. We share ideas and grow from each other's experiences and creativity so that Together Toward Tomorrow isn't only a theme that's woven for followers, but it also helps to drive the culture of the ambassador program, which allows us to get to the mission that we talked about earlier. So, that's sort of what I would say for 2023, where we're going and what we want to continue to focus on as we get into this new year.
I love that. I actually just got chills when you're saying that about supporting each other and really really focusing on that mission within this program. So that's actually a really great transition into you, Megan, since you have been an ambassador for a few years now. And based on how Joe just described, I can see why, because it's obviously a great opportunity. So to start, how did you get involved with the ambassador program?
Yeah, so I actually was in a, I guess, a mentorship relationship with someone, and she was the founding ambassador, and her name was Suzanne Guyon, and she was like, hey, come alongside. I think you'd be great at this. I want to step out and take a break. She was retiring from her more corporate roles. And so she really just looped me in, which I'm forever grateful for, which I think is a great example of the feel and character of this program, and really just of the Alliance as a whole, is that we're really reaching around and down, and trying to bring other people into this, right? It's not an exclusive group. That's not the point. The point is that more can be involved, and in many different levels. So yeah, that's how I got involved.
That's great. And so with your experience from the past few years, what is a day in the life of, or a week or a month, or whatever gives the good overview of what it is to be an ambassador? What does that look like?
Yeah, I think it's consistent engagement, I think, is one thing that I've learned, and certainly, over the last few years, especially when it's been more difficult to be in person, consistently engaging with our local chapter. So a lot of what I do along with my co-ambassador is really just making sure that we're having regular touch points with those people. Whether it's an email of encouragement or different things that are going on in the Alliance. The Alliance is great at letting us know about what is going on, and there's always things to participate in, but giving a little soft push to participate, or especially if we're involved in something that's going on, such as this, then letting them know, hey, I'm going to be, I'm going to be speaking. I would love for you to support that and listen in. And then, I think also just, being kind of organized so that we can have a future look. It does take a little bit of time and coordination, of course, to plan these in-person events. We did one, back in the fall. And so, making sure that you're kind of keeping those forefront about where we are with planning and announcements and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Actually, Megan, can you talk a little bit about what that fall event was, just to maybe give an idea to people what the ambassador event looks like?
So ours was called the Golf and Gab, and we were, I think, Joe can correct me, but I think we were the first chapter to do an in-person event post-COVID. So we did an event at Top Golf, and this event was really more, hey, we're still here. It had a more social feel to it. And so we had several sponsors that helped us, with food and drinks. And then we just really got together and reintroduced the Alliance to those that didn't know it, or those that kind of forgot we were here or didn't like participating in another Zoom call. So it was great to get out there and obviously see people again. There were so many I walked through, and so many great conversations going on, people that just hadn't seen each other in a really long time. So that was amazing. I will say we also, we personally try to kind of balance the social also with the educational. So, we'll kind of mix it up. We'll have like one event that's much more just socially focused, and then one that's maybe a seminar with somebody speaking, and then we have maybe a panel discussion or breakout sessions. So yeah,
that's great. And I think you maybe answered part of this question already with being the first to go back in person, but just from all your time, whether in 2022 or even looking back farther, of all of your time of being an ambassador, what are some lessons that you have learned, and also what are some highlights?
Ask a lot of questions, ask people that know or have done it before. I think that's one of the things that I really learned, is that there are people that have held really great events, and there are people that have held really cruddy events. And so learn from both, so that you can make sure to do what you think might work, or maybe you take the best of it. Staying organized, as Joe said, you have Joe and you have other people that are helping us, kind of reminding us where we're going and what's coming up. But setting calendar reminders for myself that I need to reach out. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, but I feel like, what? It's been a month since, I sent that email or, stuff like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, time is flying. So I think, keeping those things so that you don't lose the engagement. And I would also say, really being direct. Again, another thing that I think is probably coming with my age, but just asking people, hey, you've been at multiple events. Would you help us with this? People aren't always willing to raise their hands and say, I can do that, or I want to do that. But when you ask them, I feel like you're less likely to get a no, or, I can't do this, but I could do this. So I think, ask people what you need, tell them what you need so that they can help, and don't do it alone.
Great. That's great advice leading into Erin as a new ambassador, some takeaways there. But so Erin, just to get started for you, since you are a newer ambassador, what led you to want to be more involved?
I started seeing the posts for the webinars on, I think, LinkedIn. And so I started engaging with those and just signing up and watching them. And I took so much away just from sitting in and listening on those. So much resonated with me. It kind of was like, if you guys wear glasses or contacts, I wear contacts. It's like you got new glasses or contacts, and there was a whole new level of clarity and focus, like you could see the leaves on the trees, right? Mm-hmm. It was exciting. I just wanted to be part of that movement and what everything the Alliance had.
Thank you for the webinar shout out. I really appreciate that. Didn't even ask her to do it. So very, very much approve of that. And so then what was your thought process, or what considerations went into actually making the decision to then get from doing the webinars, seeing what the Alliance had to offer, and then to this place where you are now an ambassador for Indiana?
So when I saw that there was the opportunity to interview and be part and apply to be an ambassador, I was super excited. And I thought, oh my gosh, Indiana has an opening. How do I be part of this? I did seek the approval of my leadership because I wanted to make sure that it was something that it would be in line with what I was doing and accepted. They were so excited for that opportunity as well. They definitely gave me the push to do it and completely supporting me in this role, which is amazing to have that support as well. So I miss being involved in the industry. Obviously, the pandemic didn't help that. So it was a great opportunity to get back out there and just hopefully bring the mission and the core values of the Alliance to the local Indiana people.
Yeah, and that's great. That actually leads right into my next question then. So what are some of your hopes or goals, or what do you hope to achieve in, either your first year or even long-term as an ambassador?
Definitely first year. So I'm in the middle of planning my first event. And like Joe mentioned, she had people reach out to her that wanted to get involved with the committee or with the Alliance, even before I had started reaching out to plan anything. So she sent me their information, and it was a great in to just reach out to them and have the ability to have people that already wanted to help. So it was a quick and easy step to build a committee to help. These women have jumped right in. Super excited as well to help plan the event. So we have our first one coming up in February to just introduce the Alliance, make sure everybody knows what we are about, know what we want to do, get them excited for what we want to do the rest of the year. Megan mentioned doing a panel. That's something we have on deck too. We want to do an educational panel with a couple speakers. So definitely looking forward to everything we can bring to Indiana.
Yeah, that's great. Do you want to do any advertising for the date now for your Indiana members, or will it be on the website later?
It'll be on the website, but it is February 23rd. So look out for that invite.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Well, with that in mind, so I think hearing from all of you from your different perspectives and your different time in the ambassador program, I can't imagine, I'm already involved in the Alliance and I would like to be a part of the ambassador program. So I can't imagine anyone who's watching right now who isn't like, ooh, this is interesting. This is something that is a great way for me to be more involved in not only the Alliance, but Joe, like you mentioned, the industry and the community. So this is a question for each of you. What would be something that for those people who want to get involved, what should their expectations be with regard to being an ambassador or on the committee or just some part of the program? And Joe, I'll start with you on that one.
Yeah, so just from a practical perspective, ambassadors are asked to put on, host 4 events a year, and at least one of those events being educational. So you've heard Megan and Erin talk about some of the seminars and panelists that they'll have, as well as networking like the Golf and Gab, which when I got that, I'm like, that is so exciting. And I saw the pictures. It was an amazing event. Megan's underselling it right now, but it was awesome. And it was the first post-pandemic one, so really exciting. But I would say beyond sort of that practical expectation, really, if you bring a passion for the mission and a commitment to drive the message at a local level, that's really the expectation, because you have the support of your ambassador peers, of the board, there's lots of support that we can provide to set you up for success if you bring that passion and commitment, and then we can help you do the rest. So that's what I would say would be the expectation.
Perfect. Megan, how about you?
Hopefully this doesn't scare people away, but I would say, be comfortable getting uncomfortable. I think that, this has really pushed me both personally and somewhat professionally. Talking on these, right? Like it all sounds wonderful. And then you actually do it and you're like, oh, that's kind of scary, or hosting a collaboration session. I mean, those are, I love those. I would encourage anyone who has not been a part of it to just do it. Turn your video on, participate, and do it, because I have never not gotten something out of it. But it's like nerve-wracking, right? You're with people you probably don't know. You're being asked questions that are a little bit more personal, and it's a little bit like a live, multi-person therapy session. And you obviously can share as much as or as little as you want. But I just think that, we don't grow unless we push ourselves and challenge ourselves. And so that's a lot of what I connect my experience with Alliance as being, is really pushing and challenging myself. It's actually what keeps me engaged in it. And so, be okay knowing that some of this is going to be uncomfortable, and it's okay because it's not only you feeling that way. A lot of people are feeling that way. So just lean into it and take that next step. So
yeah, I think that's so true. Something to remember. It's not just you. Everyone's feeling the same, and we're all in this together on that. So that's great. I do want to follow up on the collaboration session, though. Can you actually give a quick overview of what those are? I don't believe that we've addressed that yet. I think that might be maybe the easiest way for a person to initially start with the extracurricular, so to speak.
Sure. So the collaboration session is basically like a breakout group from whatever we talked about or had maybe a seminar or a speaker speak on earlier in the month. And so, you kind of take, it's almost like, like a book club questions. You're taking some more specific questions from that talk or that speaker, and then you're discussing it with a group of peers from all over the country. So that's, I think Joe mentioned it, that's the great thing about, I've met so many people. That was the one really great thing about the pandemic, that when we hopped online, we met a bunch of different people that we would have not normally engaged with. And so, and so then you have a discussion, and, it lasts no more than an hour. And there's also an ambassador or, somebody else with the Alliance that will help, kind of just like you're doing, Laura, will help facilitate the discussion. So we'll lead the questions and might call, like I said, getting uncomfortable, but might call on you, hey, I haven't heard anything from you. What do you think about this? So, yeah.
And then Erin, back to the expectation question. What expectations do you think someone who wants to get involved should know about?
I agree with everything Joe and Megan said, obviously. And I do think you have to raise your hand and participate and get uncomfortable, like Megan said, too. You're not going to gain anything or move on in your life you don't participate, and take some of those challenges away from the collaboration and webinar sessions and actually utilize them and put them into your day-to-day life and attempt to make those changes in everything you learned. It's really eye-opening and a wonderful experience if you do just sit there and let it and take it all in, raise your hand. Like Megan said, you may very well get called on, but that's okay because you can make it what you want to make it. You don't have to speak up. You can share what you can, but know that it is a safe place and it's really a wonderful experience.
Perfect. And so my next question then is, for people who don't necessarily want to take that next step to get involved to a level of being an ambassador or, being on committee and running some of the events, what is just one thing about the ambassador program as a whole that you just think all the members in the Alliance should know about the program? And Megan, I'll start with you on that one.
I think I would just say, take your next step. So if you're marginally participating, commit to doing it once a quarter, committing to, engaging once a quarter. If you're already doing that, commit to going to a collaboration session once a month. Take the next step. Maybe it's, I'm going to attend all the in-person events this year that are hosted near me. Or, but I think that, with that theme of pushing yourself beyond, just doing the next thing is, I think, a really good thing to encourage and to challenge all of our members to do.
Yeah, I agree. Erin, how about you?
I think everyone should know that I've only been in this a very short amount of time, but the love and the support that this group brings to the table on a daily basis, I mean, there is no question that you can't ask. There's nothing you can't seek feedback on. Everybody wants to help each other. And it's a huge networking opportunity outside of that. But just the willingness to stand up and support each other is really worth being involved.
I love that. That's so wonderful.
I love that too.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joe, anything else to add to that as well?
Oh, the only thing, one thing to know, and I think Megan said it when she said, this is not an exclusive club. This is designed to be inclusive. And so we want to bring people into the tent and under the umbrella or whatever, cliche we want to use. But I would say that's the one thing, if you didn't know anything else about the ambassador program, that it was what Megan said, that it's not exclusive, it's designed to be inclusive.
That's perfect. And Megan, I know you hit on this a little bit as far as taking that one step, but what should members do if they do want to be, if they're walking away from this webinar today and they do want to get more involved? What is something that they can do maybe in addition to the ambassador program, or just how would you recommend that a person go about getting more involved? And Megan, I will start with you again on that.
I would make sure first that you're getting our emails. I think, if yeah, if I don't know, and sometimes even for myself, I mean, I engage in the email, but sometimes it'll go into a weird junk, however these programs are filtering stuff. So make sure you're getting it, make sure that it's, a favorite or something that's coming into your inbox and that you're reading it, because there is stuff in there that's, coming often and things that are upcoming that you want to make sure to participate. And then also I would say, just know that if you can't join live when something's being done, everything is saved on our site. So you can go back and access it at another time. I love that feature because we all are very busy, right? And things come up and we think that we're going to be free and then we're not. But don't, I guess, use that as an excuse to not participate, because it's sitting there just waiting for your little break in your day that you can go engage with it. So
that's a great tip as well. And Joe, what do you think from your perspective as the board member over this program? What are some things that people can do if they want to be more involved?
So when you were talking, I had like a list of 17 things.
That's, I mean,
well,
great.
I really do think there are so many different ways. I mean, even just following the Alliance on all of the social media platforms. So to Megan's point, when things are coming up, going to the website and finding out who your local ambassador is, linking in with that local ambassador on LinkedIn or whatever social media is, so that you're connected with that ambassador. obviously attending events in your area, reaching out to the ambassador to say, hey, I'd like to be on a committee, or I don't want to be a committee, but here's a great topic or area of interest that others might want to learn about. Encourage your industry colleagues to attend an event, and particularly if they live in a different state than you, encourage them to attend an event in their own chapter. Post about your positive experience at an Alliance event, whether that's ambassador-led, which I hope is what it would be, but also for the national webinars and any of the sessions we host at conferences. And then anything that you can do to just word of mouth, one, because as I said, our focus is awareness and expansion. We need people to know who we are and what we're trying to accomplish. And if you can be a sort of quasi ambassador in terms of telling other people about the Alliance, that's a great way to get involved and also expand our footprint so that other women and followers who could benefit from the content will know that that content is available to them. So again, spread the word and be engaged.
Erin, how about you? Anything to add, or maybe even some what you actually did to get more involved, or any tips that way?
Yeah, sure. So I think they covered pretty much every way to get involved. But I mean, but I would also, I think I turned on the alerts on LinkedIn. So I don't know if everybody knows that's a function that you can get, but you can actually turn the alerts on. So when the Alliance posts, you actually get notified of that post, and you can go out and share it to your network. And that way it gets the word out that way too. I like doing that. I like posting anything that the Alliance posts as a whole regarding the webinars. And like Megan said, they're always there to go back and look. That's how I watched a lot of the older ones that I wasn't able to attend in person, and I love that feature as well. And I think just getting the word out, like Joe said, any way you can, share the word about the Alliance.
Perfect. And thank you again for the webinar shout outs and the on-demand feature. So it's really great for people.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'll send you my Venmo later. So with that, just is there anything else that you wanted to bring up, or anything that we missed, or anything just to make sure that as everyone is going about their day, and we're pulled in a million different directions, but wanting to keep a focus on not only the Alliance, but the Ambassador Program in particular, anything else that you think would be important to note before we end today? And that's anyone.
Not that I can think of. I think that last question around how can you get involved, and I think that is the most important sort of takeaway of all the questions that we had.
Perfect.
Because we do want people to be involved, and again, I just go back to that inclusivity, Megan. When you said that, it just, to your point, it gave me chills, because I think that sums it all up. It's inclusive, and we want you involved.
I think it would be cool if on our LinkedIn we put like the question with this webinar when we end up like kind of recapping it, and we put, what are you going to do? And that people will go in and post a comment, like, what are they going to do? Like, what's their next step? Because with it, when you say it out loud and you post it, there's a little bit more teeth to it and accountability. So I think that would be great as well for all of us.
I love that. I end the webinar that way by saying we're going to give everyone some time back in their day today from what you have scheduled for this webinar. So you have 2 homework assignments if you're watching, and on demand, because we do have that feature as well. Go check out who your ambassador is. Like Joe said, we have the map on the website. Go to your state, see who an ambassador is. And if you don't have one in your state, then we can talk through that as well. And then the second thing, go and post what you're going to do, what your next step is going to be. Because I think that's exactly right. Once you say it out loud and you put it in the universe, then some things start to happen, and we can all get pushed outside of our comfort zone, but then start to grow as well. So I cannot thank the 3 of you enough for joining today. I think this is a topic that, like I said, is so important for all of our members, because not only is it a way to engage with the Alliance itself, but it's been said several times on this call, which is so important, but it's your community and it's the industry, local and close to you, where you can really continue to grow both personally and professionally through this program, and had chills several times from things you guys have said. So cannot thank you enough for the time, and for everyone else, go take care of your homework assignments, and we will see you at the next webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Everyone.